Policemen of Reddit. What crimes did you see the aftermath of that were so cool that you didn't want to arrest the criminal? I had a case, in my first year as an officer, where a drunk man launched his car off a boat ramp. We approximated that he was going 50 miles per hour and the car landed in 20 feet of water. Now the cool part. He swam out, ran 8 miles to his uncle's house and stole his tow truck. He then drove the truck back, swam down and hooked the tow cable to the axle of the car and then proceeded to pull the tow truck into the water as well. We were called on scene and we could only see the headlights and the tip of the hood above water. He was passed out asleep on the dock next to it. I don't know why, but this feels like something a Scot or a Florida man would do. Amazing levels of stubbornness here. A friend of mine used to be a hash dealer, and for some reason he spent his money on reptile habitats. Giant glass enclosures, connected by tunnels, plant life everywhere, dozens of different reptiles living in a lush green world. When he got busted, cops were calling other cops to come take a look. Some even went to get cameras. This was the 90s, because they were so blown away by what they were seeing. Of course they still arrested him, but in the cops' eyes he had become cool reptile guy instead of just another drug dealer they were arresting. I hope someone was there to take care of the reptiles while he was in jail. This one always gets me. In my city, a homeless man was breaking into homes by lockpicking. Nothing unusual with that, however. What he did was brilliant. He would wait until he knew the times people wouldn't be home and would clean their homes for them. He averaged a week or so per home going unnoticed. The first few homes he was never caught, but signs of a home invasion were reported to us. On the house he did get caught and he used the defense that he was cleaning a home that he was hired to clean and mistakenly got the house wrong and the door was left open. Armed with nothing but a cell phone, he made fake email correspondence to back his claims from a client with a similar address. He was able to overall, unproven but speculated, stay for upwards of a month in homes. In court his defense was actually successful because the other cases he couldn't be linked to and was only prosecuted for the one. Then with his defense his lawyer only got him 14 days in jail. Guy never took anything outside of food. He would clean their house, eat, shower and nap, and then leave. My friend is a police officer in Berlin. He and his colleague were sent to an incident of domestic violence. A guy was beating up his wife and the neighbors called the police. When they arrived at the scene they found the son of the wife beating up his stepfather, who was trying to fight back but just catched one hit after the other. The son made sure not to hit his stepfather's face, and when asked later he said, "I didn't want him to drop unconscious. I wanted this to last. Also that would have been unfair as he never hit my mother where other people could see her bruises too." That's a good son. Don't freak with a kid's mum. That kid will get big enough to freak with you someday. Also just don't beat on people for freak's sake. Where I'm from, that qualifies as self-defense provided his intent was to protect her from future abuse, rather than revenge. The son was never charged in the first place. They only arrested him because in the heat of the moment he wouldn't have stopped. The stepfather was charged for violent, domestic abuse. I don't know whether he went to prison or if the mother filed divorce. My friend says that you must keep a professional distance from such things. His job was done when he filed the report. Makes sense. Sounds like those dudes were fighting, so they're both going in cuffs until we get this figured out type of situation. Not a policeman, but a cool dude police guy stopped me for speeding one Christmas day many years ago. I was late for my night shift at work, so was in a hurry. When he stopped me, I was thinking, crap. I am a big black guy, in a BMW with tinted windows. Surely it looks dodgy as hell. I live in the UK. After apologizing, explaining and showing him my details, he knew I was legit, and not trying to pull a fast one. So he said follow me, and he put on his police car light on, and helped me speed through the traffic to be at work on time for the night shift. To this day I see him around and buy him a beer in the local pub whenever I can. I should leave the internet now, while my faith in humanity is still temporarily restored. Retired cop here. Get a call of an argument between man and wife. Arrive. Guy answers door and says it was only verbal and she left. Tell him I have to have a look inside to make sure she isn't dead in a closet. He laughs and says sure, I get it. Come on in. I do a quick looky-loo and open a bedroom closet door. Dude has a full marijuana grow in the closet. Probably 10 to 15 plants. Grow lights, the works. This is before it's legal. I quickly close the door and tell him to have a nice day. I couldn't see arresting that poor sap for a felony cause he got in an argument with his wife. Pretty sure similar happened to my dad. We lived in the country and he grew some dope for personal use behind the shed. The neighbors had a domestic and the wife ran up our drive and called the cops. They arrived and I was so worried my dad would get done for a few plants, as I could smell their distinct aroma when standing near the cops. I guess they were feeling nice and didn't want him to get in crap for someone else's issue. But for body cams, I don't think you could get that on camera today and not charge the numerous felonies. They don't review every interaction. Police have wide discretion to arrest or not. Depends on the camera system and policies of the city. Ours are auto-logged on every interaction, every exit of our vehicle, and it is required that every interaction is viewed. Every officer has to do a peer review of 10 interactions per week from other zones. Every captain, lieutenant, etc., has to do 5 reviews for every direct they are responsible for every week. We also have specific code calls we review 100% of the time. Domestic disputes being one of them. The resulting effect is 90% of our interactions are reviewed by someone, 100% of complaints are reviewed, and 100% of arrests are reviewed. Anytime your gun or taser leaves the holster is signaled to the tape and auto-reviewed by IA or Judiciary Board officer. Plus it all becomes public record and internet warriors will file complaints against lenient officers. I have had 2 filed against me. Luckily we have not really established the punitive actions for these offenses. One issue we have is so many cops cuss way too much. I am 100% guilty of this, but it is an unexpected result of the cameras. At first, management was writing officers up because of their bad language, but then they realized that a massive portion of the officers were cussing. So now we created a mandatory training program to reduce the use of offensive language. I'm a cop, but I can't for the life of me think of a good answer for this prompt. I guess the closest would be the group that stole, I want to say tens of thousands from a big box retailer. They had a guy climb into the ceiling in one part of the store, drop into the office with the safe right after a cash drop, steal everything, then leave the same way. There were at least 3 people involved, plus we were reasonably certain the lady who forgot to close a safe was in on it. But as far as I know there were never any arrests made. Don't steal, but that beats the hell out of the guys getting snatched up stealing a fifth of Dark Eyes. Sounds like Best Buy. They have had a few break-ins through the ceiling. The Best Buy near me had someone break into the store next door because their security sucks. They used a torch to get through the metal security door without opening it to trip the alarm. Then they use that store's stock area to get up in height to Best Buy top shelf that runs around the walls of the store where we had big metal cages full of Apple's products. They busted through the wall in one spot just big enough to poke a head through and see where they needed to be, then busted a hole in right behind each of the cages. Torches the metal and stole an insane amount of MacBooks and iPads and such. This was during the holiday season too, so they had way more than usual. To top that off, the same group is suspected of having stole from them like a month earlier by blowtorching the back metal door and somehow knowing exactly where all the motion sensors were to avoid setting them off, before immediately climbing our ladders to walk over to the MacBooks. After that BB walked all the ladders up in the middle of the store, but then the above mentioned theft happened anyway right after they got new cages and put the MacBooks back up there. What is suspected as the same group also hit several other stores in the state in a matter of days. We used to have this campus police officer that would come chill at the picnic table with us while we smoked the electric lettuce. He said he loved the smell and enjoyed being around us while we were goofy. That and we weren't drunks destroying everything in our path like the rest of the students. Come to think of it, my college was liberal as hell. This was 12 years ago in Pennsylvania. Weed was essentially legal on my campus, but they really enforced underage drinking. I wanna hear from real cops though. Haha, when we were in college we thought we were being sneaky until the campus security rounded the corner and said, "That smells nice," and then kept on his way. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like this video. So all your dreams can come true.